Imagine you're living somewhere with volcanoes. You should know that your life is more interesting than people living in other places, because you can get up one morning and find a volcano has erupted overnight. But what would you do if you woke up one morning to find the volcano was shaking without actually erupting? Would you still be so calm, or would you run away from there immediately? What if it kept on shaking for months without erupting? Still not convinced? Well, keep watching this video because today we'll talk about why volcanoes shake without erupting. Make sure to watch until the end of the video because some of the things we'll discuss are shocking. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss out on the fun. Let's dive into the science. Before we start, here's a question for you. Have you ever been to an active volcano area? How did you feel when you first realized you were standing next to a volcano? Tell us in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us grow. Thanks for doing it. We really appreciate it. Now let's go. A 48-hour continuous earthquake swarm at Mount Ibu, Indonesia, started on September 26, 2021, and was recorded by local residents. The Indonesian Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation, or PVMBG, was alerted to the situation, but found no signs of volcanic eruption. And so far, more than 17,000 earthquakes have been recorded by a local resident. Local officials have decided to continue monitoring the volcano despite the lack of signs of an eruption. Is this normal? Why do volcanoes shake without erupting? Join us as we investigate the strange case of Mount Ibu. Mount Ibu, located in the Banda Sea in Indonesia, is one of the country's most active volcanoes with more than 20 eruptions recorded since 1843. It is also one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes, as evidenced by its perfect symmetrical cone shape. Although Mount Ibu's most violent eruption occurred in 1980, when it violently erupted and killed over 2,000 people, the Indonesian authorities have decided to maintain a close watch on the mountain after a swarm of earthquakes shook the area for 48 hours. However, scientists have yet to determine the cause of these earthquakes. In general, there are two main reasons why volcanoes erupt without warning. One is a buildup of gas pressure underneath the volcano that gets released all at once, causing an explosion. The other is when magma builds up beneath the Earth's surface and eventually erupts. However, in the case of Mount Ibu, scientists have ruled out both possibilities. According to Hanif, the head of the Geological Disaster Technology Assessment Center, the earthquakes are not connected to volcanic activity. He explained that they have monitored seismic activity in the region since the beginning of September, and that these recent earthquakes are unrelated. According to him, the tremors started suddenly and had no connection to the volcano. But just to be sure, they set up surveillance equipment to keep track of any changes in the volcano's activity. So why are volcanoes shaking without erupting? In general, volcanoes shake during an eruption, but they can also shake without erupting. Small earthquakes are common in mountainous regions where tectonic plates are pushing against each other. In some cases, however, earthquakes can also be caused by volcanic activity. For example, when magma moves through the pipes beneath the Earth's surface, it can cause the ground to shake. Scientists refer to these as volcanic earthquakes. Volcanic earthquakes are typically small and short-lived. They usually occur before, during, and after a volcanic eruption. They happen when magma moves through the pipes beneath the Earth's surface. Magma is less dense than the surrounding rock, so it can rise through cracks and fissures. As the magma moves, it causes the rocks around it to break and shift, which generates seismic waves. These seismic waves radiate outward from the volcano and can be detected by seismographs. Sometimes magma accumulates in the pipes beneath a volcano without erupting. In such cases, the pressure from the magma can cause the volcano to bulge, which can trigger earthquakes. Also, when pressure is released from the magma, it can cause earthquakes. Volcanoes and earthquakes are related phenomena, but they're different. Volcanoes form when magma rises from deep within the Earth's surface and erupts. Earthquakes happen when rocks along a fault line suddenly shift. Both events can cause significant damage, but volcanoes are generally more predictable. Earthquakes happen suddenly and without warning. There are many ways to detect volcanic earthquakes. Seismographs are used to detect and record earthquakes. They consist of a seismometer, which measures the strength and timing of the vibrations, and a recorder, which writes down the results. There are several types of seismographs, including those used for local and regional networks. Local networks monitor earthquakes within a small area, while regional networks monitor earthquakes over a larger area. In addition to seismographs, satellites can also be used to detect changes in the Earth's surface. This information can help scientists determine whether the earthquakes are caused by volcanic activity. The study of volcanoes and earthquakes is important for several reasons. It helps scientists better understand the processes that occur beneath the Earth's surface. It also helps them monitor volcanoes and predict when they might erupt. This information is important for protecting lives and property in areas near volcanoes. Now that you know all of this, let's go back to the beginning of the video and talk about Mount Ibu again. After the 48-hour earthquake swarm ended, the locals began to relax. However, they were shocked when another earthquake hit the region a few days later. As of October 14th, over 17,000 earthquakes have been recorded, and scientists are still trying to figure out the cause. These earthquakes range from very shallow depths of only 3 kilometers to depths of 100 kilometers. Moreover, they are mostly weak, with a magnitude between 1 and 3 on the Richter scale. However, there have also been some stronger earthquakes, with a magnitude of 4 or 5. To identify the source of these earthquakes, researchers from the Bandung Institute of Technology installed 24-hour continuous recording seismographs in 5 locations around Mount Ibu. By studying the data, they hope to learn more about the volcano's internal structure. They believe that Mount Ibu may have multiple magma chambers at various depths, explaining the wide range of depths of the earthquakes. Despite the numerous earthquakes, there are no signs of volcanic eruption. The PVMBG continues to monitor the situation closely in case it changes. This phenomenon is not unique to Mount Ibu. Similar swarms of earthquakes have been observed at other volcanoes around the world. For example, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines was preceded by a swarm of earthquakes. In 1991, Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines was one of the world's most closely monitored volcanoes. In July 1991, a series of earthquakes struck the region. The earthquakes were not strong enough to be felt and were not precursors to a volcanic eruption. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology recorded a total of 2,000 earthquakes. The first earthquake was recorded on April 27, 1991, and the last on June 14, 1991. The swarm continued for 40 days with 20 to 30 earthquakes per day. The majority of the earthquakes occurred at depths of 10 to 30 kilometers, with magnitudes ranging from 1 to 3 on the Richter scale. Some deeper earthquakes occurred at depths of 60 to 70 kilometers. No changes in the volcano's gas emissions or ground deformation were recorded during the earthquake swarm. All of these factors led scientists to conclude that the swarm was probably caused by tectonic activity rather than volcanic activity. Tectonic activity occurs due to the movement of the Earth's tectonic plates. The Eurasian plate and the Philippine Sea plate meet in the region. Another example is Mount St. Helens in Washington state. On March 29, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupted in Washington state, killing 57 people. Before the eruption, the volcano underwent a series of changes, including a swarm of earthquakes. The earthquakes began on February 2, 1980, and continued until March. Over 100 earthquakes were recorded. Most of the earthquakes occurred at depths of 5 to 10 kilometers. The swarm reached its peak in early March, with dozens of earthquakes every day. The earthquakes were felt as far away as Seattle. As we have seen, volcanoes can sometimes shake without erupting. This can happen due to tectonic activity or magma movement beneath the surface. While volcanoes are fascinating geological formations, they can also be dangerous. That's why it's important to study them and monitor their activity. By understanding volcanoes, we can better protect ourselves from their potential hazards. What do you think of this video? Leave a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe and like. We'll see you next time.